Welcome to Yoga with Stephen. In this video you can experience and practice my classic 30 pose full body sequence designed to give you more elasticity, more strength, more balance, mental relaxation and spiritual upliftment. This wonderful all-round sequence, carefully crafted from 20 years of teaching to mixed ability groups, contains all the classic poses of hatha yoga, and it is my go-to yoga sequence if I want to boost my body, mind and spirit. We're going to start with some relaxing back stretches lying on our back. We're going to fire things up with some standing poses, increase the stretches with seated poses, strengthen our back and stretch it in prone position lying on our front, and finish with a reclined inverted shoulder stand sequence before relaxing for a few blissful moments in Shavasana, Relaxation Pose. So, if you've not eaten anything in the last couple of hours, if you're physically fit for full body yoga, and if you're the kind of person who likes to experience life rather than watching other people experience life, pause your video, roll out your yoga mat and let's begin. So we're going to begin by rolling onto our back, assuming it doesn't hurt you in any way, just to give our back a nice massage, rolling forwards and backwards. If you find this painful on your back, it's not recommended, but if you find it pleasurable, it's really a nice way to just to give your back a nice little massage. And then we're just going to relax for a moment. Legs up in the air. Just pause there for a second and feel your lower back relaxing. Very often in life, we're full of tension and we hold our back quite tight, so it's very nice just to relax for a moment and just become still and let that lower back open into the ground for a moment, and then a few nice side rolls is very nice and relaxing. A massage for the back of your head. Keep your head on the ground so that your neck is nice and relaxed, and just massaging the back of the head like that, and also the sides of the hips is very pleasant feeling. And then we can even do a few little rotations of our legs just to massage that sciatic joint where the spine meets the pelvis, like that. There we go. And then once again I'm just going to pause for a second in that position. Just feel that lower back again. When we become still, the muscles can really relax, so we're just going to pause in that position for a second. And there we go. We're going to bring our feet onto the ground into reclined bound angle pose, Supta Konasana. And this is a lovely way just to open the hips. Also a lovely way to open the chest and relax the neck and the head. Just opening the whole body to the sky, feeling the back of the body sinking down into the ground. Just a lovely feeling, a lovely way to open those thighs and also to still the body again. A lovely way to start a yoga routine in case you're coming from a stressed environment, a really good way to get going. Now we're going to go into gentle spinal twist. So the knee is coming to the right side, and I'm going to look in the opposite direction to the left. And again, this is your classic go-to back stretch, also to warm up the lower back. Just feel that lovely stretch in the hips and the knees and the shoulders. Changing over to the other direction. The bottom foot is on the floor, the knee goes towards the floor, the top knee is on the bottom knee, and the top foot is on the bottom foot off the ground. Try not to move your feet away from the centre point. Feel that lovely stretch in the hips. Then add the face, the neck, twist into the pose. Notice where you can feel it. You might feel it in the shoulder, you might feel it in the hip, you might feel it in the knees. Yoga is always telling us where we've got issues in our body as we go through this full body routine. Lovely job. So I'm going to lift those knees up again. We're just going to add a bit of strength to the back as well. So I'm just going to lift my hips up into bridge position and down again. Up we go again into reclined bridge position And down we go again. Breathing in, lift your hips up, breathing out, bring your hips down. If you want to strengthen it a little bit more, breathing in, lift your hips up, leave them in the air, and then right leg up and forward. You can synchronize that with your breath if you want to. Breathing in, lift your leg up. Breathing out, bring it down. Don't force your breath, but it's very nice to harmonize your breath with the movement. And it can help create the nice flow state feeling. One more time, lift those hips nice and high, and then bringing those hips back down again. And I'm just going to do a classic knee stretch. So squeeze that right knee into your chest upside down. There's no pressure on the knee, but we can add a squeeze to make the feeling a little bit more intense. And over we go to the other side. So this is your first knee stretch. That's the least pressure knee stretch. So we start with this one upside down. Add in the squeeze, chin to the knee, back we go again, and just relax. So now I'm going to do a big leg stretch, classic leg stretch pose, just lifting that leg up in the air. Just feel that, just feel those muscles having a stretch. It's the beginning of our routine, so we're going to be repeating this stretch loads of times in different orientations. That's what we do in yoga. We repeat the stretches but change the orientations just to increase that stretch a little bit more, going gently because we're just warming up in a sense at this moment. And if you want to add extra intensity, see if you can bring your nose up to your knee. Let's have a go on the other side. Classic thigh stretch. Get used to the feeling. It's always good to start with a relaxed feeling, and then slowly as you relax into it, you can build up the intensity. Obviously, if you straighten the leg, it's a bigger thigh stretch. Obviously, it's not a crime to bend your knee, but clearly the more you can straighten it, the bigger the thigh stretch. And the right way to do it is the right way for your body. Bring your nose up to your knee. In other words, where your body's at. Down we go again. Lovely job. So we're now going to come up into seated boat position. So the classic way to get into boat position is you start with bent knees. That's the easy way in. And then you work on straightening those legs, and that slowly increases the core activation if you can. But if you can't, go with the bent knees. If you can't sit up into it, sit up first and then do the pose with the bent knees. And if you want to add more core exercise, why not lift those arms up? Why not bring those legs out while you're about it? Bring them in, and down we go. And we're just slowly activating our body, particularly focusing on that lower back. So I'm now just going to take the opportunity to give my knees a little bit of a stretch. So I'm into another bound angle position, but this time seated, moving those knees up and down, feeling those thighs stretching. Seated bound angle position. We can lift our hips closer if we find they have stretched a bit more. And if you like, it's nice to do a few little leg stretches from here. So let's do a little balance. So I'm coming into balance, seated position, and then that's baby pose, holding the toes, and then work on, can you straighten your legs? Depends on your elasticity. Don't worry if you can't, but it's a nice little challenge for you. Widen them out to the side. It helps to focus on a point on the ground about 2 meters ahead of you to get your balance. Down we go again. Should we do that again? Stretch them up. Relax into that feeling, keeping your balance. You see how we're practicing elasticity, we're practicing balance. There are elements of strength. Let's ramp up the strength. Let's take hold, let go of the toes. And we're going to go up without toes. In we come again. Let's turn it into another boat pose. Just really good to stretch and strengthen that back. Create some resilience. Wonderful. Now my feet are going on the floor. Bring your hips close in. Stretch between those knees. And see if you can stand up. Lovely job. Excellent. So we're now going to move into our standing poses. These are the ones that really heat up the body. And that's why we start with standing poses before the seated poses, to really fire up the lower part of the body. And we're going to start in classic Warrior position. So spread those legs wide, open that chest, lovely chest posture. You're working on that in warrior pose. Turn that right foot 90 degrees. Back heel back a little. Keep that back leg straight, keep that body straight. Keep that back arm lifted, chest open. Bend that front knee. Slowly come into that. Look at that front leg. I'm aiming for 90 degrees, so I'm going to walk that foot forward. See if I can deepen that thigh stretch. Look at the body, trying to keep the arm up, chest open. This is a way of working on your chest posture because you're having to engage your muscles. 90 degrees in the front leg. Keep the shin vertical. So you're maximizing the stretch, but the foot's not going to run away from you. Body straight, arm up. Down we go. And finally the head just looks down the arm. Fantastic. And we're going to go over to the other side. Oops, mat just moved a bit there. Feet parallel. Turn that left foot 90 degrees. Back heel back a little. Open that chest. So we repeat what we do on one side, we repeat it on the other side. So we're working on balancing both sides of the body, both sides of the brain, which are part of the body, clearly. And so that's why we try to go one side, then the other. Backhand has gone down, chest open. There's always stuff to work on in every yoga pose. When you hold a pose, which is the classic hatha yoga way of working, it gives you a chance to work on it. If you flow continuously, it's a different exercise. And then turn that head. What a wonderful day it is out here, absolutely amazing. I think it's Eid. It's beginning of spring. It's nearly Easter in the Christian calendar. Amazingly auspicious day today. Fantastic. We're going to come out of that pose. So, warrior position is a great position for building a bit of vitality in your body, activating your body, which is why I think it was introduced into yoga. It wasn't part of the original hatha yoga poses in the ancient scriptures, but it was added around the time of Iyengar, that sort of time in southern India. Right, we're now going to do tree pose. So the first thing about tree pose, obviously it's a one-legged balance, and that's the key focus of tree pose. So we tend to put the foot on the other side, opening that hip as well. And obviously you can put your foot, whatever your knee, your thigh elasticity is and your hip opening. If you're good at half lotus, if you've got half lotus knees, you can even put your foot inside. It's actually easier if you've got the bendy knees. Open that chest, get your balance. Again, looking at the floor about 2 feet ahead of you is a very good way of focusing. You imagine a golden cord from between your two eyes traveling to a point on the ground, holding you stable, lifting those arms up. And the way to increase the shoulder stretch is to wrap your hands around each other. Open that chest, pull those arms high, open those legs more. If you like, you can suck your tummy in, increase this lengthening of the spine. And we're going to come down. Amazing. Let's have a go on the other side. So yoga is not just stretching, because obviously we're standing on one leg. So that's weight bearing on the standing leg. In fact, there isn't any such thing as just stretching. If you stretch one side of a limb, you're either squeezing or strengthening the other. One side contracts, one side extends. So yoga is just really gentle exercise, which is why it's a good intermediate exercise between stillness and high activity, dynamic exercise. So it's a good in the middle of those two places. There we go, balancing on both sides of the body. And we're going to come down again. Lovely. Now, so that slightly engages your core to some degree, holding that one-legged position. So we're now going to do classic two-legged forward bend. Breathing in, stretch up is a good way to engage your whole body. And we're going to relax forwards. Down we go.
So it's best to start two-legged forward bend in classic ragdoll. So start with a very relaxed feeling. If you suffer from high blood pressure, this is not recommended. And if it makes you feel uncomfortable, weird or dizzy, it's not recommended, because listen to what your body tells you. Whatever your mind thinks, your body is telling you things. A famous quote from the Buddha: the mind thinks but the body knows. So if the body tells you it doesn't feel right, listen to your body. But if it's meant to, this pose is meant to feel really good, and you've got that special thing of upper body dangling, so it's a form of inversion. Now once you relax into it, you can slowly work on it. What are we working on? Well, we can work on straightening the legs, we can work on going deeper, bringing my abdomen into my thighs. And if you do have your hands on the floor, then you can slowly you can put the hands behind your ankles, and this just helps to squeeze that body into a stronger stretch.
I'm going to come out of it again. Give your body time to adjust. Give your head time to adjust. The blood is going to flow back out of your head. And there we go. So we've done two-legged forward bends. Obviously it's the same on both sides on that one. So we're now going to move into classic dancer pose, which is a slightly more ambitious balance than the tree. So you're slightly ramping up your balance, and a classic back bend. So first of all, take hold of one ankle, knee bent, arm in the air, and then you're going to slowly lean forward into the classic dancer. See if you can get a back bend out of that back foot, back leg. Trying to keep the standing leg straight, that may bend a bit, depends on your elasticity. And then come out when you need to come out. So let's have a go on the other leg. So now standing on the right leg, that's actually my slightly more elastic leg. So you notice that one will be straighter. As I go in, I'm leaning forward, getting a more of a back bend happening in the dancer pose. The feeling is the lower body, the leg is straight, the upper body is a curve, like a circle on a straight line. I remember once attending a baptism and thinking the candle going into the font was a bit like the dynamic of dancer pose. Wonderful job. We come out of the pose. Notice we're pausing in between poses just to give the body time to relax again. This is how you sustain a longer sequence with pauses in between in the classic hatha yoga method. So now what we're going to do is just give our neck a little bit of a stretch, because the dancer pose does bend your head up. So this is a good way of just really relaxing that leg. So bring that chin forward. Feel the back of your neck stretching. The weight of your head is doing the work along with mother gravity. The back of your neck is just relaxing completely. And then you can bring that chin to the left side. Feeling the stretches down the right side at the back. Bring that chin to the right side. I've got to watch the mic there, but I'm bringing it to the right side. Feeling the stretches on the left side. Then I'm bringing it down again. These are all the fibres that get tight from driving, from sitting at a computer. 90-degree rotation. Keep that chest nice and open. 90-degree rotation. Keep that chest nice and open. And forward we go again. Right ear to the right shoulder. Left ear to the left shoulder. Up we come again. And assuming your neck's feeling okay and it's nice and warmed up at this stage, we're going to do a little rotation of the head. Just adds a few more angles into the stretch. Don't do this if it hurts. Don't do it with a cold body, because you could pull your neck. But if you've warmed up, done some inversions as well, it helps to warm up the neck, get the blood flowing in. There we go. Nice rotation of the head. And it also is quite nice to roll those shoulders, where you can often feel the same fibres. These are all the ones that get tight sitting in a car, looking at a computer, sitting, laying back but looking up. Excellent. So we're going to do our 5th classic standing yoga pose, which is Trikonasana, triangle position. Okay, so feet parallel, reasonably wide apart. Right foot's going to go 90 degrees, back heel's going to come back a little. Arms straight. Now you can breathe in and out of poses if you want to, or not. It depends on whether you're focusing on the breath and the pose, or whether you're focusing on the pose. There's different ways of doing it. But if you were doing that, you'd sort of breathe in as you open your arms, and you'd breathe out as you go down. But we're going to take our time over it. So we're going to slowly go down, feel that leg stretching. We're working on different things here. So clearly we've got a big leg stretch. We're keeping that arm lifted. And the hand is resting on something so that this is called a supported pose. So if it gets to the floor, it's best to put it on the floor behind to really open the body, whilst keeping that leg lifted. And then finally, you're looking upwards towards the hand in the air. I've got my eyes a little squinty because I'm in the sun at the moment, facing the sun. Okay, wonderful. Out we go. So we're going to turn over, to the other side. Left foot 90 degrees, back heel and back a little. Open those arms. Always keep that chest open as much as you can. Down we go. Slowly going down, feeling that left leg stretch, which on my side is always a little bit stiffer. Once that hand gets down, that gives extra support. You can then relax your muscles more because the weight is going down into the hand. You're working on that arm, you're working on that leg straightening, allowing those muscles to open by staying in the pose for a little while. Rotating your head out to the side, possibly even upwards, depending on your neck elasticity. Wonderful. And out we come. So 5 classic standing poses focusing on the basics of the pose. So we're now going to come down onto the floor, get off our legs. So we're going into classic tadpole position, which is toes touching and knees out to the side. Now, if you can't kneel, because quite a lot of people have problems with kneeling, it's not necessarily something that Western cultures do a lot, so people often don't have very elastic knees. So if you do struggle with kneeling, just lie on your back instead and hug your knees into your chest, as we did at the beginning. Or in fact, another option is what's called baby pose. So you hold the toes and you just do that position there, holding the toes, arms through the knees. So that's an alternative to kneeling poses, because obviously kneeling poses increase the pressure, and the whole point of the sequence was we're increasing the same things, but as we go into seated position, the stretches increases. So we're going into that relaxed tadpole pose, a moment to recover and restore your vital energy. You can hear me breathing on the mic, I imagine. Okay, so we're going to come out of kneeling pose. We're going to open that chest. Feel the extra squeeze in the knees and feel those heels sinking into your pelvis. Just exaggerate that back posture for open the chest. Just for a moment, just exaggerate the back posture. Okay, so we're just doing a little preparation now for our seated poses. So we're going to go into downward dog. Obviously your classic semi-inverted forward bend. With the downward dog, feet parallel, you're working on getting those heels into the ground. If you're struggling, you can try a little bit of walking. Once you've got your heels into the ground, you're working on lowering the shoulders, getting a nice little shoulder stretch going there. Okay, and then we're going to increase the strengthening of the core in classic plank position. If you have a wrist issue,
but it's also a good variation of the plank. Have a go at elbow plank. A bit closer to the ground, so a little bit more work for the core to do, but give the wrists a break if you're struggling with your pressure on your wrists. And if you want to increase the pressure, going up and down into plank position is a very good way of doing it. Wonderful job. So we're now going to do a big thigh stretch. So again, if you can't do the kneeling poses, don't do this. On your back again, and do baby pose, which I just showed you before, or just lie on your back and hug your knees into your chest. So this is called hero position. So this is where you sit between your heels. So the wider your knees, the wider your feet, the easier the pose is. So try widening the knees and the feet. Do not force your knees. So, I mean, don't do it if it feels wrong. But if you can do it, it's an amazing way of keeping those knees and thighs elastic. If you can feel the floor between your heels, then you can start to go back. So we go back, we start with the elbows, and then back we go. If you can, depends on what your thighs are telling you, what message they're sending you. But if you can get on the floor, you feel that marvelous stretch in the thighs and the knees. Again, this is a pose which suits some people, doesn't suit other people. Do not force it. Do the right stretch for your body. Every pose is potentially good for you or bad for you, depending on whether it's suitable for you. So you do have to listen to your body and use your common sense, use your intuition to listen to what your body's telling you as to what makes sense. And just do a softer version of things if the harder version is too much. And then stretching those arms behind us adds some more lengthening. And one of the interesting things with a yoga pose is not just muscles, it's not just the skeleton, it's also the skin. So the skin is a single organ, so we're constantly stretching and squeezing the skin in yoga. And I'd be fascinated if there were any studies on the effect of that, because it's a very significant part of yoga. You notice the blood flow increasing all over the body in the skin after doing poses. So we're going to come out of that now, having given our thighs a really good stretch. And this is just a good way of, you notice how we're doing opposite stretches all the time, just to keep the balance going, keep the flow going, like breathing in and breathing out. So we're now moving into one-legged classic forward bend. Now, usually you do this with a bent knee, like in the tree pose. If this causes you to feel a problem in your hip or your lower back, then instead of bending the knee, stretch the leg out to the side. The key thing is you feel the stretch in your leg more than you feel it in the back. So if the back is holding you back from a forward bend, then you want to get that leg out to the side instead. But assuming that's not happening, you're breathing in, stretching up, lengthening your spine, moving forward, breathing out. Find your first position. So now this is the first pose where it's fully supported, and we're really going to relax into a deep stretch, and we're really working now on those muscle fibers with patience and perseverance, really letting them extend. So whatever position you start with, first of all you relax into it. Then we make some adjustments. Is my foot curving in? Is my leg bending a little bit? Maybe my hip could do with a little movement. If you rock from side to side, you can often adjust your hip a little bit. As you relax into it, you can go deeper into it. Generally your hands, if they get to the toes, the next thing is the sides of the feet. And if that's happening, the next thing would be the heels. Again, I'm slightly foot's curving in there, so out we go again. You can work on this for ages if you like, but it all depends on your time and the whole sequence. As you get lower, your elbow lands on the floor, and eventually you may get your nose on your knee. That's the sort of general direction of flow. Now let's go on to the left side, which in my case is a slightly stiffer side. Breathing in, stretch up. Breathing out, stretch forward. Find your first position. If you're going in with one hand, make it the hand on the outside of the foot, because when the foot curves in, what you're actually doing is reducing the stretch on the inside of the leg, because that tends to be the tighter part of the leg. So we are trying to keep that foot flat, so we're stretching both sides the same. Then I'm relaxing into it, And you're constantly working on it. You know, maybe the knee will bend a bit. You know, it's just you're working on it basically. Slowly relaxing forward. That hand's coming down now. Down we go. Outside arm is on the floor. Head on the knee. And there we go. Great. So one-legged forward bend. We're coming out of that one, and we're now going to move into seated spinal twist. Matsyasana, half spinal twist pose. So for this, my right knee is bent and my left foot has gone over the knee. So the first position is you just hold that knee with the right hand. Open your chest. And then the third thing is you rotate your head backwards. Then we can increase the action by getting our elbow across the knee in that position, and then we can increase it by bringing the hand down to the ankle, creating a squeezed hold, which is the classic method in yoga. You start with a stretch, you increase it with a squeeze and a bind, and you lock it in, and that's a way of increasing the stretch. So there we go again. Nice open chest. Try to keep your body as vertical as you can. Head rotating to the side. Really feeling that stretch. Wonderful. Out we go. Excellent. So we're going to now go to the other side. So my left knee is now the one that's bent. The right foot goes across the knee. If you're struggling with this, try it with a straight leg. Gives you more distance for your foot. The further your foot is forward, the easier the twist. I'm showing you the classic half spinal twist pose. Left foot over. Once again, let's get the body twisting. Ultimately, it's the inner action that matters, not the outer performance. It's the experience rather than the performance. But the performance can guide the experience to some degree. Okay, so let's get that elbow across the knee, increasing the twist action down to the ankle. Really big twist going on there in the thighs and the hips. Open that chest. Smile for the camera and rotate if you can. I have a different neck twist one side and the other. And there we go. Feeling that lovely big twist inside your body. Excellent job. So we're coming up now and we're going to do the classic kneeling back bend, which is called Camel Pose. So for this you come up onto two knees. Obviously if your knees hurt doing this, then it's not advised. But generally 2 knees together, not too much pressure. And to get into the position, we usually come up on tiptoe first of all. In fact, I'm going to come around this way. Come up onto tiptoe first of all. Try one side at a time. So just get used to the feeling. Hand back, head back. Up we come again. Change to the other side. One hand back. Marvellous. If you can do that, have a go at 2 hands. Head back. Opening the chest. If you can do that, come off your tiptoes. Now, obviously with the head back, it's a big squeeze at the back of the neck. If you've got really inflamed fibres, you may not like that, but if you have worked on your neck and you've got it opened, it's a nice way of, in a sense, demonstrating to yourself that the muscles have become relaxed and you can let the head flop back comfortably. Push that pelvis forward. Open your chest to the sky. Absolutely wonderful. And up we come. A good counter stretch to that is the cat stretch. So let's just do a little cat stretch there. Stretch that spine up, head down. Spine down, head up. Spine up, head down. Spine down, head up. Wonderful. Okay, so one more classic seated poses
which is the ultimate squeeze pose, is Gomukhasana, cow face pose. And so for this, again, we have one knee pointing forward, that's the right knee, and the left knee is going to go over, and this time you're on the sides of your feet. So my right knee is over the other knee, my feet are on the side, and you can use your arm like that if you to help. If you've got chunky thighs, which I do have slightly chunky thighs, helps just to lever that knee into that position. So knees in line, feet on the side. Again, this is supposed to feel a nice pose, not really painful. Don't do anything which hurts your knees or even your hips. Don't do anything which hurts the big joints. The idea of this is to stretch particularly the top thigh on the outside. The next thing is, can you bring your head down? If you can get your head down, the next thing would be to try the cow face pose hand grip. So one hand goes down the back, one hand goes up. See if they can grip. Feel the squeeze, relax into it. If you can't do the hand grip, that's a nice version. Like that. We change over to the other side. That knee's going to bend. That knee's coming in. Again, you can use your arm to lever the knee over if you need to do that. I mean, the direction of it is this knee's coming down onto that one. Again, depends on the size of your thighs in many ways. On the sides of your feet again, they're the horns of the cow, one presumes, an upside down face, perhaps. As to why it's called cow face pose. And out my... Feel the squeeze, get used to the feeling first. If that's going well, have a go at the arm hold. Only if you can do it. One hand up your back, one hand down. Forward we go. Lovely, it's a big squeeze pose. Okay, so this is where we go onto our front. So changing the pressures now on our back, coming onto the front to strengthen and stretch our back. So we're going to start in relaxed position, and you're going to notice how the pressures change on your back as soon as you lie on your front. It's a very nice relaxation for the back to change the pressures. With your head on its side, it's really quite a big twist, so let's have a go with the head on the other side. That's a 90-degree twist. Okay, so we're going to go into classic Cobra position. So my forehead is going on the floor, my hands are beside my shoulders, my elbows are close. If you bring your feet in, it increases the stretch. If the feet go out a bit, it makes it easier. So do whatever's right for you, but we're going to lift the head, keep those shoulders low. Slowly up we come, like a cobra, rising up, slowly coming up. I have an amazing view to look up here, looking up at the sky. Sometimes you can lift your hip up, but then sort of bring it back down again, just to work into the feeling of the back bend. Shoulders low, looking up at the sky, feeling it in your chest and your lower back, and slowly come down again. Okay, so that's a classic supported stretch. So now we're going to strengthen our back, and we're going to use classic swing locust. So for this pose, first of all, in relaxed prone crocodile position, this is a wonderful way to really relax and stretch the body. Bring those arms in, bring the feet together to increase the side stretch. Really relaxing and enjoyable position. Now we're going to exercise those back muscles, lifting the right hand, lifting the left leg and looking up. Just feel that engagement in your back leg. You can have the back leg curved or straight, but do use the thigh, because then you're using your lower back. Change to the other side. Lifting your thigh and your leg and your arm. Just feeling that engagement on the other side. Then relax, and then we're going to have a go. 2 hands and 2 legs.
and relax. Wonderful. And so if you're not used to doing this, it's a good thing at this point just to stretch out your back again. So come back into kneeling position. Again, not if it hurts you in any way. So these kneeling positions are meant to be recovery positions, relaxation positions. Amazing. So we're going to do one more classic prone back bend. These are really the three classic prone back bends. Bow position. Full body back bend, but also supported, meaning you're holding onto your limbs rather than working the muscles. So first thing is, can I hold my ankles? Number one. Good stretch, see if you can get your heels into your pelvis. Number two. Lock those arms, push those legs up. Feel your chest opening. And you can even rock forwards and backwards to add to the intensity of the experience and give your tummy a bit of a massage. And we're going to come back again into kneeling position. Child pose. Sanskrit name is Balasana. Feel those hips sinking into the legs. Two versions of the pose, arms forward. Getting a bit of an arm stretch and then arms beside your body. Feeling your lower back relax. And this is like taking a deep breath before we do our final sequence, which is the shoulder stand inverted sequence, which just brings everything together. We do it at the end of the yoga sequence because it's quite an intense squeeze, and we do want the body warmed up before we do shoulder stand. So just wait for your breath to really slow down. This is sometimes called folded leaf. That is, you're melting into the ground. It's supposed to feel a delicious and relaxing pose. Again, if your head feels strange or dizzy, come out of the pose. Sit up or lie on your back, whatever feels right. Okay, now we don't want to go cold, we want to stay warm, but it was just a good way of getting our energy back. So we're now going to do our final little sequence, which is shoulder stand. Excuse me. So now do not do shoulder stand if you have neck issues, head injury, any issues with your brain or your head. Don't put your neck or head under any pressure. It's not good for it, essentially. Again, this pose is meant to feel good. That's the key thing about it. Okay, so we're going to start. Remember the back roll that we did at the beginning in the warm-up? If you can do that, you can probably do shoulder stand, otherwise known as bicycle when I used to go to school. I'm going to roll backwards. Lift those hips in the air. So first I'm going up slow. So you just get your hips off the floor, supported with your hands. Then by walking the hands back, you can increase the stretch. And there's obviously a lot going on in the neck. Use your legs coming over to balance the weight of your body. It also helps to bring the body up in the air. Walk your hands down the back. Feel that huge stretch in your neck. Okay, so when you've reached the maximum neck stretch for today, back over into plough position if you can do it. So the feet just come over. Okay, so we're going to come out into scissor. I'm going to scissor kick out into bridge position, but roll out, if that makes sense for you, supporting your back. If you can scissor kick, it's one leg at a time. Foot on the floor, and I'm lifting my hips in the counter stretch for the back, taking hold of the ankles to increase the stretch, to bind the stretching. Hands under the hips helps to lift your pelvis in the air. Hands around the ankles, squeezes that in. And if you've got the energy, have a go at wheel position. And then down we come. So bridge position or wheel position, or both. The wheel position helps to give your neck a stretch, but we're now going to stretch the neck using fish position. So straighten your legs, put your hands under your pelvis so you're sitting on your wrists, arms really close together. The closer the better, the further down the better. Use your elbows to lift your head off the floor, then just gently put your top of your head back on the floor, really opening the front of the neck into classic fish position. And then you're going to relax out of that one. Amazing. And now, having completed slightly more than 30 poses in our wonderful full body classic sequence, it's a wonderful opportunity to really relax. So lying on the floor, feel your body extending. With the head on the ground, it opens the chest. Again, this should be comfortable and not painful. If it is comfortable, it shows you have a nice opening of the chest. Nice chest posture, which is usually a benefit that comes from regular yoga. So feel those limbs relaxing, feel your hands softening. Palm upwards gives the feeling of relaxing. Feel your feet flopping out to the side. Feel those legs relaxing, the hips relaxing. Your hands are softening, your arms are softening, your shoulders are sinking into the ground. As your shoulders sink into the ground, your chest opens. As your head sinks into the ground, your neck is relaxing. And now become aware of you breathing as your body's melting into the ground. As you're breathing, notice your tummy's rising as you breathe in, and falling as you breathe out, like a wave rising out of the ocean and falling back into the ocean. Notice how as you become still, there's a sort of subtle inflow of energy. All your energy is now balancing after all those different poses. After all that movement, your stillness has now become vibrant, peaceful, smooth, soft, but also gently uplifting, as if you're floating in an ocean or floating on a lake. As you're breathing into your tummy rises. Breathing out, the back of your head sinks deeper into the ground, letting go of your head and your neck. Breathing into your tummy. Breathing out, the back of your shoulders sink deeper into the ground, letting go of your arms and your hands. Breathing into your tummy. Breathing out, the back of your hips and legs are sinking deeper into the ground. Breathing in, your tummy's rising. Breathing out, your body's sinking down into the ground. Breathing out, you're slowing down. Breathing out, you're melting down.
Breathing out, you're easing down. Breathing out, just let go. Now you can do your relaxation for a long time or a shorter time, but make sure everything's slowed down, your energies come back together again. And when you feel that, then that means you can come out of it if you want to. You've sort of completed the relaxation. So we're going to come out at this point. Just move your fingers and your toes and your arms and your legs. Bend the knees, roll about. And then, when you're ready, slowly sit up. And then, when you're ready, slowly stand up. Feel your energy back in your body, earthing into the ground. Lovely open posture for a moment. Namaste. Thank you so much for spending your time with me.